So Trump, as you guys know, has really, really been feeling the pressure. When those Epstein emails came out, Trump spent that day at the White House blasting Phantom of the Opera music. And this is like, I mean, it's just a clear sign that homie's down. I mean, he's feeling it right now. So he emerged from that by deciding, you know what? I'm going to do the only thing I know how to do, which is fight. I'm going to do the only thing I know how to do, which is throw haymakers. But the problem for him is now you're throwing haymakers from within the tent. You're going after your own people. You're going after some of your most loyal soldiers. So the backstory here, he's going to go after MTG. The backstory here is that the Trump people told Marjorie Taylor Greene they don't want her running for U.S. Senate from Georgia because they didn't think she had a good chance. So she was furious over that. She felt slighted by that. So she's now been doing this tour where she's basically doing the reverse Fetterman. As Fetterman is basically becoming a Republican, Marjorie Taylor Greene is kind of becoming a Democrat with a lot of her rhetoric. How sincere it is a separate question. We could have that conversation on another day. But the bottom line is, Trump doesn't care. Trump sees it, you're being disloyal. And so he decided, I'm going to make an example of her. And this is his last-ditch effort to try to make the Republicans fall in line to not vote for the release of the Epstein files. That was the point here. He wants to make an example of MTG to say, look, I can crush you like a fucking bug. So any Republican that steps out of line, I can crush you like a fucking bug. But the problem with that is, it's not really working. It's not really working anymore. It's not. And the Republicans have safety in numbers. So as I said, 50 to 100 Republicans are supposed to break ranks and vote to release the Epstein files. He can't punish like 78 people. He can't do it. He can't do it. Okay, ready? So Trump, out of nowhere, sees that Marjorie Taylor Greene had gone on these Sunday shows and she was giving her take on Trump and MAGA and the economy and all these different issues. And on some issues, she defends Trump, but on other issues, she breaks with Trump. So he sees this and he takes out all of his anger from the Epstein emails that just came out, which make him look horrible. He takes out all of that anger on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ready? So here's what he says. I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men and women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars. By the way, all this is bullshit, as you all know. Rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were just 12 months ago. Having trillions of dollars, record-setting, it's fake, all this is fake, invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more. All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for senator or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance, unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't going to get. She has told many people that she is upset that I don't return her calls anymore, but with 219 congressmen and women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members in almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they too are fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She has gone far left. Oh my God, that's such a lie. Even doing The View. How dare she talk to people who disagree with her? With their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Okay, so he wasn't done though. He came out and said he was workshopping nicknames. How about Marjorie Taylor Greene is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. Then he says, ready for this one? Lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Brown, and then he puts in parentheses, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot. Green also turns brown when it goes dormant, you fucking dipshit. Betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on The Pathetic View, and became the rhino that we all know she always was. Another fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massey, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only. Rhino, make America great again. So I love how he does Marjorie Taylor Greene for one of them, which, okay, not bad. Then he goes Marjorie Taylor Brown, and he has to explain the nickname, which that's a guaranteed loser if you got to fucking explain it, right? But then he ends up settling on Marjorie Taylor Brown. He has since repeated it multiple times, thinking that was the better of the two nicknames. Bro, Celtics Shaq, dog. You are Washed McWashington. God damn. What is this? This is the best you could do? Oh my God. Marjorie Taylor Brown. Because bad grass, it's not green, it's brown. Am I right? Am I right? Oh my God, this is so sad. All right, so now, then he started, you're going to love this. Then he started just posting random tweets or truths, lies, random lie social posts. He started posting them, and all it is just like randos going after Marjorie Taylor Greene. So he was just posting screenshots like this. You chose your side. You joined the Democrats. You want to better your political future in 2028 instead of helping President Trump fix the country, which is why we voted for him again. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm sure Whoopi's always going to hire you on The View. And so then he posted, one of the pictures is just, she's speaking at an event to release the Epstein files. This idiot is fucking posting that like that's some sort of own. No, you dipshit. That makes her look good and you look bad. Like, you guys are trying to protect pedophiles and you're like, look at Marjorie, not even trying to protect pedophiles. Disgusting. All right, ready? More. Your political future just ended. This is the stuff Trump is posting. Look at this. Hope it was all worth it, sellout. I'm from a district similar to yours. Massey's, in fact. I know my family, friends, and I cannot wait to vote against Massey. I bet many of yours feel the same. Don't pretend it's just about the files. Others are doing the same, and we're fine with that. And he just keeps going. Like, he just keeps posting unhinged, attacks on Marjorie. Okay, ready? But Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's not like a lot of these other Republicans that just wilt. Like, you could tell she's got a little bit of crazy in her. And I mean that in the best possible way, not the worst possible way. She's got a little bit of like, nah, fuck you. Like a lot of Republicans, soon as Trump hits send on one post that even mildly goes after them, they fall back in line. Huh, yes, sir. Would you like me to coddle your ball sack and powder your bottom, sir? But Marjorie Taylor Greene's like, I'm not with that. All right, ready? So she says the following. President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge, the Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me. Hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. That's exactly right. That's exactly what he's trying to do. It's astonishingly, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out that he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes. That's a little jab at Israel too. Are going broke trying to feed their families and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I have supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him even when almost all other Republicans turned their backs and denounced him. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. I worship God. Jesus is my savior, and I serve my district, Georgia 14, and the American people. I remain the same today as I've always been, and I will continue to pray this administration will be successful because the American people desperately deserve what they voted for. For me, I remain America first and America only. And then she shows these texts, which were to Trump. Check the flight logs on Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton is on there like 26 times. Hillary too. Okay, by the way, let me just pause to point out the Hillary thing is a total fucking lie. It's not true. But you could tell she's almost a true believer, and that's why she's turning on Trump. And she's like, wait, I don't get it. Why aren't you releasing the Epstein files? Don't we want to take down the deep state cabal of pedophiles? It's sort of Pollyannish and naive because, like, Marjorie. It's because he's fucking all over the Epstein file, of course, but she doesn't know that. So she's like, just release it. What's the problem? For many of us, releasing the Epstein files has always been for the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also because we believed that Democrat bad guys like the Clintons were entangled and involved with him. Epstein was the spider that broke the web of the deep state. Lean into it. So here she is being like, what's the problem? Just release the Epstein files and you got my support, bro. Then she texts with this person, Natalie. Now, this Natalie person, she's like 34 years old. There were rumors that she would tweet as Trump and like she was the voice of Trump oftentimes. And this seems to validate it because why are you texting with Natalie and acting like this is you texting Trump, right? So this appears to be validated that there's a 34-year-old woman texting as Trump oftentimes, and we don't know when that is, using Trump's voice and everything. So in all caps, Natalie says, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. MTG responds, in every single interview I have done, I have defended President Trump. I've said over and over the women say he did nothing wrong, and their attorney says he's the only one who helped. And the Democrats had 4 years to release the files but did nothing. Stop ignoring the women. Many of them literally voted for President Trump and say so publicly. Them being raped as teenagers is not a hoax. So here's the thing, guys. Like I said, she's a true believer. She's true believing here. And she doesn't get it. Why aren't you releasing the Epstein files? Again, Marjorie, sweetie, he's all over those files. That's the thing. Like, you got to take that last step and realize he's the problem. He's the deep state. He's the cabal of billionaire criminals. Like, oh my God. All right. So then she goes on CNN and they have a wide-ranging interview. Let's watch.
Encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here? Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
Now, by the way, I should point out real quick that she has had a lot of threats since then. Somebody ordered a bunch of pizzas to her house. Oftentimes, that's like a precursor to getting swatted. So, I mean, Trump is, sort of putting her in the crosshairs, and it's leading to actual issues, right? It's leading to actual issues, but he knows, like, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to scare her into falling back in line. Like, Trump actually wants those things to happen. He wants her to be fucking scared.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations. And I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files. And I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
You said on X yesterday, quote, "It's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, and that it really makes you wonder what is in those files." Are you suggesting there's something in the Epstein files that President Trump does not want Americans to see?
Well, I think that's the part that has so many people confused, is that the women themselves that I have talked to have over and over again said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong.
Bruh. Bruh. Marjorie, why do you think you're in the crosshairs? Because he did nothing wrong? Why do you think you're in the crosshairs? No, how many times have we gone over this? Trump was Epstein's best friend for a decade, and we have Epstein on literal audio tape saying exactly that. Trump was on Epstein's plane 7 times that we know of, and I'm sure it worked the other way around too, that Epstein was on Trump's plane. The first time Trump and Melania had sex was allegedly on the Lolita Express, which is Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile plane. Epstein knew the inner workings of Trump's first White House. Trump and Epstein shared a girlfriend. He also passed off a 20-year-old girl to Trump in 1993. Literally, those words is what he used. I passed off my girlfriend to Trump in 1993, 20 years old. Trump wrote a creepy letter to Epstein on his birthday. Like, the list goes on and on of all the things. Like, all the signs are there. You can't, like, I need you to take that final step. It's great that you're breaking up with them and, you're tiptoeing away. I need you to start sprinting away so you can tell the total truth. Not this half-truth bullshit where it's like, oh no, oh gosh golly, I really thought the Epstein files would only implicate Democrats. Meanwhile, what came out in the files, in the Epstein emails the other day? Epstein himself said Clinton was never on the island. Are they going to highlight that email? No, I don't think so.
Quite a few of them even told me they voted for him. And those are the women I would like to see in the Oval Office with support. I would like to see all of the women there with support. I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
Well, before this blow-up, you sort of alluded to this just now. You said you were confident the president wouldn't be implicated. Are you still confident of that?
I'm listening to the women. Those are the ones that are saying that he did nothing wrong.
That is not true. First of all, there's 28 different accusers of Trump of, committing various crimes of a sexual nature. 28. One of them she said Trump and Epstein both played some sort of sick sexual game with her where they treated her like a piece of meat. So we have Katie Johnson, 13 years old, accused Trump and Epstein of rape. Okay? Don't give me this bullshit. She's pissing me off. I'm supposed to be on her side here, and she's pissing me off because she's failing to open her eyes to the true nature of Trump and MAGA. She's refusing to do it. You're almost there. Take that last step.
Virginia Giuffre even said under oath that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and she wrote
She was probably afraid to criticize him directly and call him out directly. Trump has a track record. Look at Karen McDougal. Look at Stormy Daniels. They explain he has a track record of harassing people if they call him out.
In our book, so I'm continuing to listen to the women, and I think their voices should be the loudest.
The president said the reason that you have been critical of him is not necessarily Epstein, but because he pushed you not to run for the Senate or for governor in Georgia. How and when did he do that?
Well, that is absolutely not true. Actually,
On that, I don't believe her on this. I believe Trump. I think that's the main reason why she broke up with him.
I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to on my own that I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. I think the past 2 months of the government shutdown should have shown America exactly why I would never want to be there. I think it's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty and doesn't serve the American people and how they vote. And I decided that I didn't want to run for governor this cycle either. I very much want to do the job that I'm in. Everyone else says I'm running for something, but all I want to do is serve Georgia's 14th district, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
So he said it pretty explicitly. Are you saying he's lying, or did he at least get that message to somebody on your political team instead?
I'm not sure. That is untrue what he said. I don't know if he's being fed wrong information. I honestly have no idea in that area, but it is absolutely factually not true, nor have I called him, and White House logs would prove that. His own cell phone records would prove it. I have not been calling the president, but I did post messages that I had sent to him, and that was to, protect, get involved. This is important. The American people want the Epstein files released. And, I've stood with the president. I have disagreed with him at times, Dana, and I'm allowed to do that. I think that's the most important thing we can do as Americans. And I'm urging my party. I've been putting massive pressure on my party and our speaker to pass the agenda that the American people vote for. That's the agenda that I fought for. Those are the campaign promises I made. And I can disagree with the president at times, particularly this past Monday on the Marines' 250th anniversary, when he honored the new Syrian president, who is an al-Qaeda terrorist and was wanted by our government for years with a $10 million bounty up until March of this year.
She's spitting here. She's absolutely spitting. And nobody else in MAGA would say that. Hey, why'd you invite a former al-Qaeda operative to the White House? Your new fucking puppet leader of Syria. It's so insane that we went from al-Qaeda being the number one enemy from 9/11 and onward with the war on terror to now a former actual al-Qaeda operative, and who knows how radical he still is, but a former al-Qaeda operative is now in the White House shaking hands with Trump, and he's part of the club. That's fucking disturbing. And anybody not calling that out for what it is grotesque.
Very much I'm against that. I think that was very hurtful to the great men and women who served over in the Middle East and were sent there, and many of them that were killed and injured and live with PTSD to this day from fighting al-Qaeda. So there's things I disagree with, and I'm allowed to do so.
Well, you mentioned the Syrian leader at the White House. You've also been critical of President Trump over foreign entanglements, H-1B visas. Now he's moving military assets towards Venezuela. I do want to play something that he said this week.
Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else, and MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Do you agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did?
Well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. And those are two issues I've been very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came on this past Tuesday's election.
I get what she's trying to say here, but Trump is correct that MAGA is whatever the fuck I say it is. He's like, I created it. I can change it if I want to. So when I say it's this, now it's this. Okay? And guess what? He's right. He's right. Yeah, he has a 36% approval rating, but, within the Republican Party, it's like 75%. So people might have different interpretations of what MAGA should be or whatever, but as of the moment, you are the fringes. There will come a day where Trump is no longer around, and then they will vie for that crown. And they will say, no, MAGA means this. No, MAGA means that. But in this moment, when Trump's like, hey, bitch, know your role and shut your mouth, because I say what MAGA... He's right. He's right. And he's already contradicted himself and flip-flopped 14,000 times on all these different issues. And every single time, they would go right back and forth with him. You want us to believe this? Okay. You want us to believe that? Okay. So now, because the economy is failing and he's hiding the Epstein files, there's enough of a fracture where some people are going, well, hold on now. I actually know what MAGA is more than you do. And that's what this is from Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think she wants to run in 2028 for president. I think she wants to run in 2028, and she wants to grab the mantle of the real MAGA, and she would make these arguments.
So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what Make America Great Again meant to me. And I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his effort. And I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see. Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people.
So sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now.
I can say that...
Just say yes. What the fuck? You can't do this like, I'm going to be a renegade, but then like be afraid to say the renegade things. Like, just say it.
Promoting H-1B visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American colleges and universities. Those are not America First positions. And continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back at home. I really, and I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another. And we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
Unironically, that's a great answer, but it's also unironically an answer that would make her lose the 2028 nomination to be the Republican. Because, like, that's just not how the Republican base thinks. They hate liberals, they hate leftists, they hate Democrats. They actually want us dead. And so when you say, like, oh, my bad, I should have called out the heated rhetoric when it was pointed at other people from Trump, that's like, to them, that's like, how dare you? Like, you're with the enemy now. Even though her voting record is more than 90% with Trump and MAGA, she's a down-the-line conservative Republican. They will now look at her like, oh, no, you might as well be fucking like Rachel Maddow because of your answer here. So, I respect it. I respect it. She's telling the truth here, and that, like, that's all real. But it's also now you got no chance in 2028 to be the Republican nominee.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
In 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Okay, so on that, I do want to ask you about something you posted just yesterday on X. You questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden.
Based?
And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. What are you trying to say there?
She's trying to say exactly what you're insinuating that she's trying to say. That Epstein was Mossad, and, Israel now has blackmail on the president. Like, that's what it is.
Well, I think it's the question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails that the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government, and seems to have led into their intel agencies. And I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey Epstein working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take money from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people. And so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the president of the United States to cover up the Epstein files?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And they don't even need to. They don't need to apply pressure because he knows there's all this dirt on him and they have it. So he's going to do it anyway. Why? Has anybody stopped to think, why is it Trump has given Israel literally every single thing they want? Have any of you guys thought, hey, that's kind of weird. He just gave them the Golan Heights. He allowed them to illegally annex it, and they weren't even asking for that in particular. That's kind of weird. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. That's weird. He's letting them finish the genocide, did a fake peace deal to give them cover to let them finish that genocide, letting the illegal Israeli settlers in the West Bank run fucking rampant and basically start torching olive farms. That's weird. Why are there never any consequences for Israel? Now we know why.
And what evidence do you have that is the case?
I simply.
Oh, there is. Wait. Don't back away from this, Marjorie. Do not back away. What evidence do you have? There was just an article that came out in Dropsite News that Jeffrey Epstein facilitated a deal to sell surveillance technology to the Ivory Coast for the government of Israel. You don't do that unless you are literally working for Israel, right? How about the Israeli spy who stayed at Epstein's place for weeks? That doesn't happen unless you have very close ties, right? Ehud Barak, like she said, Jeffrey Epstein and Ehud Barak were very, very close, right? Now, you could say the only other argument is he was either a spy for Mossad, full stop, or he was like a freelancer and he also sold stuff to Russia or whoever contracted him. Those are the options. There is no other option. Like, that's what all the evidence points to. And here she is playing like the fake outrage game.
No, I simply just asked out loud, is there a foreign government? It could be any foreign government.
Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. Come on.
Is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against.
Well, you had AIPAC up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
Yeah, don't back away from it. To be like, yes, no, of course that's what I'm saying. And you should too. If you don't, shame on you. Why are you avoiding where the evidence points?
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning any other foreign government.
Okay, when you're talking about lowering the rhetoric, which is important for everybody to hear from you and all of our elected officials, but there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures in your movement, especially after Tucker Carlson hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his podcast, didn't question Fuentes about his vile language or views. You did speak at a conference hosted by Fuentes back in 2022. You were criticized, and you said then that you didn't know about his views. Well, Fuentes talked to Carlson about that in the interview. Listen to what he said.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. She pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was.
What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I defend every single person's free speech rights. I think that's incredibly important. So I don't apologize for that. And I don't believe in canceling people. And I think it's important for people like Tucker Carlson and yourself to interview everyone. I don't believe in trying to cancel someone by refusing to interview them and question them. And I did speak at his conference back in 2022. However, I don't know Nick Fuentes. He's someone I've never exchanged text messages with or phone calls. But I did speak at his conference. That was the first time I had met him that day, and that was it. But I did watch the interview. I watched the full interview with Tucker, and I admire him for interviewing many people as well as exposing a lot of powerful information
I hear what
that
you're
he
saying.
does on his show.
I hear what you're saying about free speech. I mean, count me as guilty as a proponent of free speech. There's free speech, and then there is hate speech. And this is a man invited on a really...
Don't. Like, even when Dana Bash is right, the way she frames it is wrong. Nobody should cancel him, and this isn't hate speech. It's just, don't allow this into the realm of debate that we view as reasonable. That's the point. Fuentes says, Hitler was really fucking cool, and I admire Hitler. He says, boys and girls should get married as teens. Women shouldn't have the right to vote. He says, Catholic Taliban rule should come to America. We want to return to the Middle Ages. Give the death penalty to Jews and atheists and witches. Democracy is wrong. I fucking hate the poor. I love the rich. And the list goes on and on. That's the point is, he's a psycho. He's a psycho Nazi fascist. That's the point. Don't say, oh, it's hate speech, we can't hear it. No, it's just, let's not debate it and pretend like it's real. Let's not take it seriously. Let's not pretend like there's something to discuss here in the same way there's no reason to have a debate between somebody who believes in evolution and a fucking sick, young earth creationist. It makes no sense to debate the climate change perspective and the no, it's all fake perspective. Certain things are just not worthy of debating because there aren't two roughly equal sides. And that's the point. Don't do this, oh, it's hate speech, because then that's such a weak rebuttal, because then you could throw that at fucking anything and say, well, any position I don't like is technically hate speech.
Conservative show who said even during that interview he had a problem with, quote, organized Jewry, and he wasn't challenged on it. In the past, he has denied the Holocaust, called Adolf Hitler effing cool, talked about the fact that he thought Jim Crow was just fine, and on and on.
Yeah, in other words, stop mainstreaming a fucking Nazi and pretending like, oh, this is just part of the reasonable debate. It's fucking not. That's not reasonable debate.
So again, there's free speech, and then there's just hateful language and sentiments.
Well, Dana, again, I told you on this interview that I'm committed to ending the toxic politics, and I think I don't want to have anything to do with it. You should have Nick Fuentes on your show, and you could
turn the temperature down, but also allow Nick Fuentes into polite society. I need you to turn the temperature down and let the Hitler lovers into the room, please. Is that turning the temperature down? Oh my God.
Ask him questions about that. I myself am not anti-Semitic. I have never criticized the Jewish people or said anything about them in particular. I am critical of the government of Israel, and I can criticize any government I want to in the entire world as well as our own. And a lot of the times I'm criticizing our own government for failing the American people. And I think that needs to be the focus, and that's the most important thing people care about, is being able to afford groceries, housing, health insurance, and having a good quality of life.
Yeah.
This is why I hate Fuentes' his impact on the body politic, because he makes all of us anti-Israel people. He makes people think, oh, maybe they also love Hitler, right? Because there he is, loving Hitler, being a fascist, but also criticizing the government of Israel. And then it becomes oh, you're skeptical anytime anybody says something against the Israeli government. And it's no, we need to be crystal clear. We're against genocide. We're against the Israeli government, but also we're pro-Jew. We're anti-Zionist, but we're pro-Jew. But now he puts a stench on all of us, because then it's easy for people to go, oh, well, he's just one of those, fucking Nazis or Hitler lovers. And it's fuck, man. Fuck. Why? Why did you fucking taint this whole topic with your existence?
I hear you saying you're not anti-Semitic, and you've said it before, and some of the posts that you have put up, which you have apologized for, certainly have tropes in them that have been used historically against Jews. But I do want to end this conversation with a question to you, and that is, do you see a situation where you and President Trump can make up? And if not, do you think you have a future in the GOP?
Well, I certainly hope that we can make up. And there's,
Please, pedophile war criminal, let's make up. Please, I'll look past your pedophilia and your war crimes.
Again, I can only speak for myself. I'm a Christian, and one of the most important parts of our faith is forgiveness, and that's something I'm committed to. That's why I can easily come on your show that is watched all over the world, and I can say things I'm sorry for, and I can try to set an example of how I think we should move forward as Americans. And so, of course, on my end, I believe in that, and I certainly hope to see that happen.
All right, there you go. But I'm still not done, because 27 survivors of Jeffrey Epstein released a new letter directed at Marjorie Taylor Greene expressing their support for her as Donald Trump and those around him publicly attack her. MAGA and Laura Loomer are now attacking Brian Glenn. He reported at over 100 Trump rallies and was MAGA's darling until yesterday. The MAGA civil war is the real deal. So this Brian Glenn guy, him and Marjorie Taylor Greene have been dating for quite a while. They've been together for a while. And so he comes out in defense of her, and then Laura Loomer comes in to try to attack him. So it truly is going down. It truly is going down. Trump, clearly recognizing he was going to lose dozens of members on this one, now calls on House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files, and somehow claims he had already said this. So there you go. The core of the fight was over the Epstein files. Trump realized, I'm going to fucking lose this vote. So he had to try to get ahead of it. And he said, I want you to release the Epstein files. But that's just a trick. It's just a trick. They either cleaned him up and took his name out of there and took all the Republicans' names out of there. Or since Trump announced a new investigation into Epstein, they're going to use that to say, well, we want to release them, but we can't because it's the law. Now there's a new investigation going on. There's nothing we could do. So, but man, It is getting messy. This right-wing civil war, it is getting messy. And I just love it. Give me my popcorn and let me sit back, relax, and soak it all in. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.